Welcome to the Musicians Exchange. Welcome to the Musicians Exchange podcast. Today we have another guest, my big bro, Jamain Freeman. Good dude. I really brought him here for the gospel portion and the gospel standard, as a musician and, just the industry altogether. I feel like he's well-rounded in this area. I didn't have to have a whole bunch of cats in here, to get it done. And, he helped mold my sound on drums, so, I'll let him introduce himself.
What's going on, E? My name is Jamain Freeman, Pastor Jamain Freeman now. And, man, I'm glad to be here, glad for the invitation. And just a little bit about myself. I've been playing for, I guess, about 23, 24 years now. I started when I was 19 playing and had the opportunity to play for on the Bobby Jones gospel show. And that's how I met my wife. Yeah, man, it's crazy. I tell people, man, I said, man, I met my wife doing ministry. I had only been playing 2 years, man. That was about 21. I had only been playing 2 years. And they called me up, man, and said, hey, we got a group called Greg Drumwright and the Magnificent Voices of Praise. And so they needed a keyboard player, and Joe Riley was playing drums for him at the time. And so he called me up. He said, man, they need somebody to go with them to Bobby Jones Gospel. Man, you talking about somebody that was kind of, frightened at the time. Right. Like you only been playing 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it was an experience, man. But it was an experience that I feel like really helped launch me. Right. Even outside of the, where it definitely helped launch me into the destiny that God had for me as a musician. Right. Because then, as we went forward. My wife and I, of course, began to date and all of that. And then had the opportunity. I actually was playing for my mentor, Rocky Rayford.
Shout out to Rocky, man.
Yeah.
Good dude.
Shout out to my boy, man. He's an amazing dude, man. And, every musician gets to a point where they're stagnant, or they're at that mark where they feel like, okay, I know there's more. I've kind of learned everything I can learn, I feel like, on my own. And but I know God has a lot more out there for me. Right. And so Rock, man, he was the dude that really took me under his wing. You know what I'm saying? He taught me my chord structure, the theory, and all of that, man. That's why I tell people, I said, man, I never had formal training. I said, but I had an individual that mentored me. Wow. So when people ask me, well, what did you do? I said, I always give Rocky the credit. You know what I'm saying? I always say, man, Rocky, if I had to attribute it to anybody, it was Rock, man.
That's real, bro.
My mother anointed my hands, man, one Sunday morning in church service. And said, the Lord said you were going to play. Now, mind you, we had a piano in our, I've always been in music. Right. I started playing the drums when I was 3 years old. And so by the time I was 5, I was playing in church services. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Antoine Schofield, he was our drummer at the time. Old school cat, you know what I'm saying? Wow. And yeah, he helped me in all this. And so I was always musically. I went from the drums to the trombone to the saxophone and then to the keyboard and organ. Or what have you. But all of that prepared me for Victorious Praise, where I served for 17 and a half years as the minister of music. And it's funny because, after you done conquered the Bobby Jones gospel show, it's like, okay, you done played in front of millions of people. It's like you don't have any fear of playing anywhere or doing anything. You know what I mean? And so God really used that to kind of let me know, hey, you got the gift. I've given you the gift, so now you can use it. So when I met Pastor Will, I was playing for Rocky at the time, and he actually seen us, man. It's crazy how God works, man. He had seen us. We had prepared a whole year for a live recording. Wow. We were supposed to do the live recording in 1998, I think it was, 1997. And Upper Room has their spring concert. I believe it was the 1998. They had their spring concert. And that was the only event we ever had. We didn't even eventually do the whatchamacallit. And guess what? That's the only event that Pastor Will remembered me from. It's crazy. And so Pastor Will, when he was getting to start his ministry, God had called him to start Victorious Praise. He reached out to Rocky, and he was like, man, Rocky was telling him about all these guys. Because, see, the plan was for me to go to Upper Room. I was already at it. So when he found out Pastor Will was leaving, the plan was for me to go to Upper Room and sit on the rock, and play with him. And so Rocky was naming all these other different guys, and Pastor Will was like, well, what about that tall guy that plays for you?
Right,
You know, and really the rest is history, man. We kicked off the ministry with the Karen Clark Sheard concert at the Carolina Theater, and at that time, that was like real huge because they had never came to the area. You know, they had never done anything. You know, and then fast forward, you know, we helped grow the church from 12 members up to close to 2,000. Had about 1,000 attending when I left, I guess, and everything, man. But I learned so much, you know, as a minister of music. I know we're going to talk about a lot about that today, man.
Right.
But that's just a little bit about where I'm at. God has called me into the vineyard now as a pastor,
yes, sir.
and an elder. And so I'm excited about launching Numa Life Church and really making an impact in that triad, Piedmont area in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Y'all definitely go check it out, man. And, you know, he's a great dude, great pastor, the whole nine, great minister of music. Just nothing bad to say about him, you know what I mean, to be honest. And I mean, just a little background knowledge on how I met him, you know what I mean. Like, I moved down here from New York, and I seen a post, not even seen a post, I think I seen a post on MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace.
And it was like, you know, looking for a drummer or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just like, okay, cool. Let me go check it out. I get dressed that Sunday morning. I could play, so I wasn't worried about the playing part. But, you know, Sunday morning come, yo, I'm getting dressed. Mom was like, yo, and mind you, I think I was, what, like 16, 17?
Yeah, he was a young cat.
Yeah, man. Mom was just like, yeah, that's the church you playing on, you going to today. And I'm like, and it was on TV, bro. I was like, wait, what? Nah, not that big church. I'm good. Nah. So, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I still follow through. Thank God gave me the strength to, you know, the courage to follow through.
Right.
And, you know, like I said, I met you, and it just so happened that one Sunday I fell in.
Mm-hmm.
My bro, big bro Joe, he was late for the 8 o'clock service, and, you know, I similar situation.
Right.
Look, we had our own plans, and, you know, God got something else. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it was history from there. You know, I was a backup drummer for a while, and then, you know, now I'm main drummer and everything. And, I mean, it just worked out all together, man.
Right.
What's crazy is, man, like, you've helped shape my sound as a musician all together. I mean, I tell the boys all the time, man. I even said it in one of the other episodes. You know, playing in New York is cool. A lot of cats up there can play around a lot of cats around everywhere. I mean, Chicago, L.A., but playing the music when you mature.
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. When I moved out here, yo, y'all put a leash on me because it was just like, yo. And then, you know, I played a lot of stuff fast because that's how we do up north. But, man, when I tell you the commercial sound.
Right.
Yo, you, Darnell, Joe, Wendell, and Roger, man.
Right.
Like, nah, bro. Little bro, you with us? We locking in.
Right,
we ain't doing nothing crazy. We locking
absolutely
in.
Die.
And, you know, and it wasn't even about a name. It was just the standard, bro. It was just like music. And as a young musician coming up, man, that helped my sound so much. I had a new cat today at the church. Young cat, Enrique. Organ player. He was like, yo, bro, your sound, literally, maybe like 2 hours ago, yo, bro, your pocket is so clean.
Right.
I was like, look, bro, credit straight to my older bros that was here that helped me, bro. I said, when I first got here, yo, they was locked. They was jumping.
Right.
And you couldn't go nowhere. You could, nah.
Now
And you got to be able to
put that lint. We'll put that lint out our pants.
Quick.
Well, you pocket out like, yo, we need this right here.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it was all a blessing, man. And like I said, it was history from there. And we still good, you know. Need any favors or anything, we good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But for the next generation though, coming up in the gospel industry, in the gospel standard, you know, they got a bunch of cliques and stuff like that.
Right.
But some that's, you know, that don't mind working and playing in different churches. I got a few good questions, man. It's like,
okay.
And you kind of jumped into like the highlight and stuff like that. So I'll even leave that one as, let's go there. One highlight of playing in church or playing gospel music. What did you consider it your?
Oh man, God. Man, over the 24 years I've been playing, or plus or minus or something like that.
Yeah.
The man, there's so many different things, man, that I could think back on. That's like the highlight of my career. I mean, you got to think about a young musician playing and filling in with major artists and stuff.
Right.
You know, and a lot of times, man, I tell people they a lot of people don't know who I've actually played for, who I've done work with in the studio. And because I've never been that cat, man. You know, I never been the one, you know, toot my horn or trying to, you know, name dropping all that. Right. You know what I'm saying? So he's really blessed me, man. I mean, where I've had songs on Billboard Top 20, you know, and it's like, I guess definitely the Bobby Jones thing. Because I think that Bobby Jones experience of being on that big stage, man.
Yeah.
And this is at the peak of when Bobby Jones. I mean, I'm talking about when everybody, they mama and they big mama, all of them was like watching Bobby Jones. It was like, because it was the staple show everybody would watch before they went to work or church on a Sunday morning. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was what, and so that was like a huge deal for me. Not only musically, but because I met my wife. Doing it. You know what I'm saying? So
had you missed that gig.
But even through the years, man, just the multitude of artists I've been able to play for, or let me say not play for, but accompany. You know what I'm saying? Because some musicians, they be like, "Oh yeah, man, I played for Karen Clark Shear." I'm like, bruh, come on.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
If you didn't go on the road with her, you know what I'm saying? If she didn't pay you out of her pocket, you would have not played for her.
Listen, my bro got me straight. I was like, "Hey, bro, one day, hey, so the artists that come to the church, do that count as me playing for them?" Nah. And from that day on, I knew the standard. You know what I mean? Let me know, because if you don't know, you know what I mean, it's a lot of cats walking around saying that. They come to your church, bro, you just part of the house band. And yes, it's a blessing to be able to fill in, you know what I mean, and accompany them, but
Cause see, here's the thing that what cats don't realize, man, is that it's okay to say that you accompanied them. If you want to put that on your resume and all that, yeah, of course, you accompanied them. You know what I'm saying? But it goes to a whole nother level when you say you played for them.
Yeah.
Because now you're not playing for them as a singer that comes to your church. You playing for them as an artist.
Yeah.
So your whole level of professionalism and expertise comes into play on a whole different level. You know what I'm saying? Most churches, their church house band is not really designed to be a road band or tour band. You know what I'm saying? Or a band that you would see with an artist and all that. Because and I understand to a certain degree, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to have church, you know what I'm saying? You got to have church, and there's certain things in the church, that sound and stuff has to be there, you know, if you're doing church. But I've always been the type of cat, and you can attest to this. I've always, because I've been in the industry, because I've always had that industry sound, I even wanted our sound within our house of worship to have that same type of feel, you know? And but yeah, man, it's amazing to me how cats want to name drop and all this, and I'm like, bruh, it's not really all about that. I had a cat in my me and Roger's musicians group, and the dude just hitting everybody up about gigs and all of this and stuff. And I told my man, I said, bruh, I never hit anybody up and say, man, you got a gig, you got anybody, I said, no. Right. I said, I put it out there that I'm available.
Yeah.
I said, but I'm not going to be, I'm not thirsty like that. I'm not thirsty like hitting everybody inbox and all of this, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not about that, man. But yeah, man, I see that all the time. But that's one of the issues with young cats. But I know we're gonna get into that too. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, we could jump right into. Matter of fact, yeah, we could jump right into that. We jump right into that. Younger musicians, do's and don'ts. Mm-hmm. One of them could be, don't go around begging for gigs. Like,
oh yeah,
show up on the scene. And when I say scene, I mean, and this applies even outside the gospel. Even though we just talking the gospel, hey, pull up to the open mics,
right?
Pull up to this jam sessions and stuff like that. Pull up to the midnight musicals at church,
right?
Let your face be seen. If you get the opportunity to play, that's cool. It's a blessing. Network. It's playing is really like 20%, 10% of being a musician,
exactly.
Bro. I learned that from y'all and my bro Tim Scott, bro. Like, bro, it's really your character and networking and the whole nine, integrity and
absolutely.
Yo, the littlest stuff will keep your name good, bro.
Right. Oh yeah, you gotta do that, man.
Oh man,
you gotta do that. I mean, you hit on something that's real key, man. Is integrity and character. I can't tell you how many jokers, man, that lost out on opportunities because they didn't have integrity, they didn't have character. And even with me, man, I tell people, I say, man, even when I was in the Raleigh-Durham area, I was like, man, there's cats out there that I feel like could play circles around me.
Right.
Like, but they never got the calls.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why? I was like, because I networked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I tell people in this industry, man, it's not all about what you know. It's who do you know? You know what I mean? Because those individuals are the ones that can get you to the next level. And watch this. It's not about you trying to get next to them to get to another level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. You really
to get something. No, you really build genuine relationships.
Yeah.
And when you do that organically, man, opportunities are going to come. they're gonna come, man. So I mean, even now, man, I get calls. I'm like, yo, I'm about the pastor, full time,
right?
And I'm like, yo, I get calls even now. People want me to come fill in for them, want me to do this,
right?
And there's people right there in their area,
legit.
But they're like, no, I'm not calling those individuals because I know you got character. I know you're coming here. Watch
you
this.
Show up on time.
You go right. I was just gonna say that. You gonna show up on time. You gonna be dressed properly. You ain't gonna come in there and try to steal my gig.
Yeah.
Or try to take over at the church that I'm at. You see what I'm saying?
Because some musicians some musicians are intimidated by calling certain guys to fill in.
Right.
Because they know, the person may get their gig, not intentionally, but, it's like, hey, whoa, he a better fit for the situation.
Right. I mean,
so,
I'm in a situation now, where, in the transition of the church and everything,
right.
I'm actually consulting the church in High Point.
Right, okay.
And they had a musician there. Good brother, young, came out of the streets and stuff like that, man. Was kind of raw around the edges and stuff. It was the current minister of music, man. And so I came in to help them as a consultant, the over service flow, the audio, video, all of that stuff, man.
Right.
And so they're paying me to be a consultant, a musical consultant, more of ecclesiastical consultant.
Avenues, man.
Right. And but the cat, he didn't understand that, look, I'm just coming in to help mentor you. I'm not coming in to take your job. I don't want your job. I'm here to start a church. I don't want your job. You know what I'm saying? I'm just coming to help you because I've always been like that.
Right.
I've always been the type that likes to mentor. Why? Because somebody mentored me, man. I could tell you, of cats, man, when I was first starting out, man, the cat saw how fast I learned.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Within 2 years, man, not to toot my own horn, but within 2 years of me playing, I was sounding like I had been playing like 10 years, but it was because of who I was hanging around with. It was because of who I networked with. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And really, your sound can really be molded by who you work around.
Honest to God truth, bro.
You know what I'm saying? About who you work around. I can't sit here and say that I would be as accomplished as I've been. God has allowed me to do the things that I've done, or I would have sounded like I'm sounding now if I had not met Rocky. If I had not met Maurice Rogers, if I had not met Kenny Leonard and Steve Jones and some of the others, if I had not met these individuals, I can't say that my sound would have been molded to this point,
Right.
So I say all that to say this: be thankful, be grateful if God has got you around great and talented musicians.
Recognize it. Yeah. And don't chase the
because
dollar.
that's just not everywhere. You know what I'm saying? That's just not everywhere. Don't chase the dollar. And that's what let me say. That's what I love about you is because really you was at a level where you could have went to any church and played.
Facts.
And still got a check and all of this. You know what I'm saying? Even that wasn't your heart.
Right.
You could have done that. But you know what? You did something that 99.9% of the musicians wouldn't have done. You sat there until it was your time.
That's real, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And now you receive the blessings from that. You know what I'm saying? Out of that came when your opportunity, and here's the other thing. When your opportunity came, you were ready.
Yep. I'm telling you.
You were ready. You know what I'm saying?
Note to self, young musicians, man. Like, bro, I was the backup drummer, bro. I had no problem with it. I'm not the type, I got to be the front man. If we on the team, we on the team. Let's have fun. Whoever drop the ball, everybody's going to pick it up. Bro, it's been times I took L's at VPF. It's been times where I knew when I didn't do something good because the bros would give me the look or they would relate a word to Joe. Like, yo, your boy won't sweet today. You feel me? Like, or whatever. But, Jamain, he'll lock you in. Like he'll check you immediately. And then, like, Darnell, he'll give you a look. Like, he'll look back like, nah, bro.
Nah, right.
Bro. So, I mean, all in all, it's all good because it's like, yo, I legit learned what to do, what not to do. Oh, okay, this works. Oh, this sounds good right here. All right, we going here. I need to know. I can't go that far.
Right.
I agree with you. Young musicians, it matters who you hang around because it helps your decision making when you playing, bro.
Right. It really does, man.
Like, you can't zone out. You can't be everybody. Oh, we rocking, we grooving, and it sounds good, and then turn around, you fly off, you jump out the plane.
Right.
Like, nah, bro.
Right. And so, see that's because a lot of musicians, or young musicians, for one, I think a lot of them don't have the advantage of playing with a band.
Correct.
And so they don't have that discipline. They don't have that understanding that every piece of the band plays its own part, right? And so the more pieces you have, the less your part is going to be.
Right.
It's hard for them to understand that. If I have a bass player it doesn't make sense for me to be playing bass on the pedals on the organ or playing bass on the keyboard. Let the bass player play the bass.
Or the bass player playing guitar notes.
Right, exactly. I'm like,
play your part.
Why are you up here in the harmonic registry? You know what I'm saying? And we got a guitar player. That's his space. And so that's so key. That brings me to this point. Make sure as a young musician, you're studying all instruments.
Yes, sir.
Understanding the placement of instruments. Understanding where they fit in a song. You know, where to rise and fall. One of the things that Rocky taught me, man, was on organ, he taught me how to rise and fall. You know what I'm saying? Pick your spots. You know, there's spots where the organ can come up and really shine, and then you come back down. Pick your spots.
And use your instrument. Know your instrument.
You got to know it, man. It don't make sense for you to get a Yamaha motif on Friday and then you're going to use it on Sunday. Don't know how to change the sounds and anything.
Don't touch the drawboards, none of that. Like,
it's crazy to me, man.
And
it's
they keep hitting that little, what's the piece they keep flicking?
Oh, yeah, the Leslie switch. Yeah.
Every 5 seconds.
Yeah, and don't understand. It's like, yo, let the Leslie breathe. You know what I'm saying? The purpose for it is to cut up the motion of the sound so you get a different sound, a different taste. You don't even let the motion stop before you turn it back on.
Bro.
Yeah, man. You know, so that, man, definitely integrity, character, be on time, man. I'm telling you, I've seen major professional cats that if I started naming names, you guys would know them.
Oh, yeah.
Get fired off tours because they showed up to rehearsal late.
Being late,
man. They showed up to rehearsal late.
And being prepared, man. Like, all together, and that's what I meant to tackle, too, as well. Being prepared, bro. As a backup drummer, yo, I didn't plan on moving down here and sitting down, you know what I mean? But I was like, hey, listen, let me learn. This is the way of life right now. Let me learn it, see what it's about. God got me here for a reason. And like Jamain said, I was always ready. You know what I mean? It's just not about me and none of that. But whenever Joe had to get up and go do sound or something, or Joe couldn't make it, I knew the songs. And I wasn't even playing in rehearsal. I was just going to the rehearsals and still learning from watching. I actually, doing that helped me learn, study drums, learn how to study drums and, you know, study people or whatever, just by watching. I don't have to sit down and play the drums. It's to the point now where I listen to all the other instruments in the music before I listen to the drums. Right. And you know how you got some churches where you go to and the musicians, they'll sit in the back and then look at their instrument, whoever's on the instrument. I don't even get up no more. Like, you know, they can tell who the drummer is. They can tell who the bass player is without seeing your instrument because you're looking at them and vice versa. But, you know, just be ready, man. Stay ready. And, you know, I was glad I was able to help.
Oh, yeah. And that's the key. And see, the thing about, and we can use, you know, our example as a prime example is that, you know, I love the way that you came to me. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't, you know, trying to flash numbers and all this stuff, man. And many times young musicians, they don't understand opportunities, right? So a lot of times you may have to sacrifice in order to get the opportunity that you were looking for. You know what I mean? It's not always in getting paid right off.
At all.
It's about having favor, right? And so literally because you came to me the right way, you were able to get a job. You know what I'm saying? Now you're the full-time drummer over there, along with, I think, Trey is still over there as a backup and all of that. I said, but not only that, now outside of that, even through the years, we've done gigs and stuff together. You've been like one of the main drummers that I called. You know what I'm saying? And that'll always continue. You see what I'm saying? And so it just opens up, man, so many doors of favor in your lives when you go to people the right way and you build relationships the right way.
So, I mean, we could wrap that up by saying, you know, for the next generation, the younger generation in church and all of that, make sure all of these are on point. Your approach, your character, integrity, your time. You know what I mean? Be on time. Come knowing the music. Rehearsal is not to learn the music. It's to put together what you rehearsed at home already. You know.
And no church.
No church, please.
It's amazing to me how many church musicians don't know church.
We don't want to hear R&B in church. Bro.
It's just amazing.
Straight
to me,
R&B feels.
No church.
I mean, and the more you mature as a musician, you can tell immediately what is or who background is what. And, you know, my thing is, like, all together, man, just carry yourself. Just carry yourself, you know, presentable and respectable and professional, man. Try to be as professionals. Yo, bro, we'll go to attire. I used to, this is my big bro. He done sat me down for not wearing a suit one day. You know what I mean? And I had to just take that. Like, it's just what it is. I hated suits. I didn't have no bunch of suits. But, you know, it eventually grew on me. I still don't wear suits now, but if the gig requires it, yeah, I got one. I got
right, right.
You know what I mean? But I mean, I understand now. Like, I was out of place, bro. I'm in there with jeans and Timbs on, and I wasn't looking bummy at all. But it was still like, nah, bro.
Right.
Nah, the polos, you can't wear that in here while we got suits on.
Right. And that's the thing is, it's all about the environment. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even a matter of what you had on, but it was a matter of the environment and what that leader has established for that
for that house. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like, cats coming in with earrings and all of that. Some of us don't have a problem with that, but if that pastor says, okay, he don't want his musicians wearing earrings, if you gonna sit up under his leadership and you gonna take that check that he signed,
yes sir,
then you gotta. It's just
abide by them rules.
And see, this is what gets me. E, why is it when it comes to the church, we don't want to abide by those rules and things, but we have no problem when we go to work? Yeah. If Chick-fil-A tell you got to wear Chick-fil-A uniform, what you wearing? You wearing Chick-fil-A uniform
and tucking your shirt in.
Absolutely. You're going to tuck your shirt in and everything. But when it comes to the things of God, we don't care.
Yeah, it's a different level of respect.
It's crazy to me, man. It's crazy. But yeah, attire is definitely key, man. And just really being obedient to that particular house.
That's real. So, let me ask you this. Random question, but a good question. Musicians, can only a keyboard player be an MD? For the younger generation, listen.
No. Really being an MD is all about knowing the music and knowing what each part plays, right? I can use Calvin Rogers for an example. Okay. Calvin is MD for Fred Hammond. You know what I'm saying? And so he's been doing it for years. But Calvin knows music. And we hear Fred Hammond band, they be tight, dog. You know what I'm saying? So it's not uncommon. It's not. Matter of fact, it's becoming more common now. There was a time where you wouldn't think that a drummer would be the MD. You know what I'm saying? You're like, how you gonna MD the
He's probably one of the first.
Right.
One of the very first.
But I'm gonna tell you, but Joe Riley, he used to MD his choir and stuff too.
I believe it.
You know what I'm saying? He had his own group and stuff, man. Wow. So he was the MD of the band.
Shout out to Joe.
And so matter of fact, that was the first one I had ever seen do it.
Wow.
I was like, cause we back then we was like, okay, how in the world Joe going? You know what I'm saying? Cause he used to be Joe Riley in the Deliverance Ensemble.
Wow.
And so we like, okay, first of all, he ain't on the drums. He on the drums. He not off the drums, so he not leading them out front. You know what I'm saying? But man, he did it, man. He had an amazing group, had an amazing ensemble. So Joe was like the first one that I saw that pretty much MD'd a band, and then it began to become more and more common. Right. And so today you still don't really see it, usually because the keyboard player, we got so much involved now, so like stems and all that stuff. Right. And so if you have drummers that'll run stems and run the tracks and loops and all that, then they can do it. But it's not about what you play. It's just really about the communication of it, your skill set as it relates to knowing the music, and the aesthetics of music, right? The feel of music, and being able to communicate that and convey that message to the rest of the band.
So it's safe to say, you don't automatically have to assume that the keyboard player is the MD or the organ player. And some people assume they get paid the most because they're the MD or the minister of music.
Right.
Aside from pay with that, I'm talking about pay with the title. It's like, you don't have to assume that. If you see a need and you need to step up and God grants you that opportunity, you do it. You be a drummer, be an MD. I've seen nowadays guitar players be MD.
Oh yeah, guitar players, bass players, that's common now. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't trickle down, throughout the band pit, which is great and it's a blessing. So, it's room to grow. And I feel like once you reach MD status, you're not at the top. You're not, it's not king, but you are aware of all of the music, which you should have been. Younger days, you'll be only aware about your instrument. Right. Or only listen to drums only.
And to be honest with you, man, a lot of cats just get caught up in titles and stuff, man. And so they feel like it's a superiority thing, because they the MD or all this or whatever. But the truth be told, man, it's just about getting the job done as a team.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the best situations for an MD that's a drummer, a great MD, even locally here, that's a drummer, is Archie Logan.
Oh man.
The dude is a monster on drums, but he's a great MD, man. He has the tracks right, everything, man.
He on Facebook Live. He checking volume and levels. He's MDing for a whole band and a whole show.
Right.
And still playing drums and not doing whack stuff either, though.
Right. And he got his mic back there, so he communicating with the band.
Man.
He knows the music. He knows the hits. He knows the changes. He knows the phrasing. You know what I'm saying?
I'll say this: to be able to play drums and talk, that's a skill in the
dude. I'm telling you, man.
It took years, bro. I used to tell Joe,
let me
"Hey,
tell
turn
you
it
something. It took me years to be able to play and talk like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
To communicate with the band and all that. It takes years, man.
And I mean, once you want it, you'll get it.
Right.
And you know that's what Hey, E, you can talk. Learn how to talk while you playing,
right,
bro.
Right.
Step up. You feel
That's
me?
it. That's
so
it.
now
gotta
it's
practice
nothing.
It, man.
Yeah.
You gotta practice it, man.
But, I thought that was something that would never come. You know what I mean? But
yeah, but like you said, man, that's the key to what you said is, man, be ready.
Be ready, man.
Be ready.
Be ready.
When that opportunity comes, because guess what? When that opportunity comes and you ain't prepared for it,
come on,
it may never come around again.
Even when look,
we know how we are too with musicians, dog. If you bomb,
it's your name,
bruh. Your name is Mud.
We love you, but it's your name, bro.
Your name is Mud.
The whole nine, man. Well, I'll even ask you that, man. And I mean, and I agree. Be ready. You know what I mean? Like a prime example, Fan Fest. When I got to the church, it was a dope event. You know, they always had artists there every year. The whole nine. At the end of the day, you know, it was one time Joe, you know, was supposed to be playing, and Kiara Shea comes up. Hey, look, I ain't had no plans on playing that day, bro.
Right.
At all, bro. I still feel like I was like, yo, E, what? But at the time, I was young, and it was just like, I wasn't advanced mentally playing where I am now.
Right.
Now, I was, all right, cool, let's go.
Right.
But, yo, at the time, Joe was like, yeah, I got to go to work. You got to play. What?
Right.
I think he's joking. It's raining outside. We moving the organ in. Like, nah.
I remember that, dog.
Yeah, J. Drew late. What? So I got to play, and I ain't, no rehearsal, not knowing none of the music.
Right on the spot.
On the spot, bro. What I do, real quick, fast, and hurry, hit a track and lock in.
That's it.
Lock in, and I did what I could. At the end of the day, I go back to the video time to time and laugh, bro. Like I was grateful for the opportunity. That would have never happened if I went to VPF. If I didn't go to VPF,
right? That's true.
I mean, and you know, y'all wouldn't trust me to do that. I know y'all probably was a little nervous, but at the end of the day, it's like, look, he our backup drummer. He
right,
here.
Right. Exactly.
You know, but be ready. Let me ask you this, and this, you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but transposing.
Oh my God!
Is it good or bad? And who you know transpose?
So here's the thing. I have always been a proponent against transposing, right? And majority of the reason for that is I learned how to play. All we had was an organ, and we had a real piano. Right, a real piano.
First, explain to people what transposing is if they don't know.
Okay, so if you're a musician, you don't know what transposing is. What transposing is, and really, usually I think I guess you could transpose a bass in theory or whatever.
Yeah.
It normally happens with keyboard players and organists, where we're definitely not organists, but you know what I mean. With keyboard players, you can actually, instead of having to learn the song or a song in all your keys, you can actually it's a button on your keyboard that you can push minus or plus
negative,
and so that way on the keyboard you stay as far as your fingering, you stay in the same key, but the key actually changes.
The key just moves.
It just moves for you, right? You know what I'm saying? And so there's always this running debate in the musicians community about transposing, good or bad. And here's the reality of it. I often say I'm against transposing. I actually have a shirt that I created called "Musicians Against -3." I think is on the or -1 is on the shirt.
Man.
And so I'll give you the details of that if you want to purchase one. No, I'm just playing.
Nah, for real. Look,
because they on the I can put them up. I'll give you the link so you can post it with the podcast. But and the reason for that is not to tear anybody down. It's not to say that musicians that don't transpose are any better. Because I've seen musicians that transpose, but let me tell you, they got that one key locked and loaded. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, before I went up there to play after him, I thought this mug was like ridiculous, killing, man, killing, and then I get up there and I see you got it transposed. I'm like, oh man, come on.
I've seen many instances where we had functions at the church, yo. I mean, a gang of musicians on our side, and the next keyboard player get on the keys and was like, and they back their hands off like it's a hot stove. Nah, I ain't do that. Nah, who?
Right.
Board is transposed.
Exactly. For one, because we don't want that attached to our name.
Nope.
Because look, man, when you don't work hard and learn songs in every key, you learn how to play in every key fluently. Where and this is the other thing I'll mention that. But fluently, man, you want to make sure that people don't take the credit, that all the hard work, the hours that you put in to do that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't cheat. We went and make sure that we learned, right? And so, you know, when you was talking about that, the events at the church, one event, it sticks out. I don't know if you was there or not. Man, when we had Fan Fest, matter of fact, it was more than Congress Conference, mixed in with Fan Fest, I believe. And we did that at the Marriott downtown Durham. Yeah. And so, man, we had all, you know, the preachers and all that come in. And but we did, Warren Caldwell and myself, we owned a record label, Solemn Records. And we were under Kerry Douglas of Worldwide Gospel at the time. He's the one that's the record label for James Fortune and Ernest Pugh and all of them. And so we were working with Kerry, you know, with our label and stuff. And again, that's one thing a lot of people didn't know. That's how I learned a lot of information about the industry, is, you know, through Kerry Douglas and stuff. But at any rate, we had the Fan Fest, and we put on a actual competition. And so the last group that was in the competition was a quartet group, and apparently he transposed the keyboard. I didn't know it. So after they finished, we moved right into service. So I get on the keyboard, not even thinking about checking the keyboard. And so I kick off the song, right? So the band, like, they look at me like, oh, this a different key, right? And so the praise team comes in, Reverend, and they're like in the rafters. And I'm like, hold up. I said, I knew something sounded different, but I was like, it didn't even dawn on me that he was transposed. Man, come to find out he had that doggone keyboard transposed.
Is there a way to take it out of transpose while you playing?
You can, but it's so disruptive. It's so disruptive that what we had to do was, I actually told Marshetta to stop singing, to break the music, right? And then I changed it, and we went, you know. See, and I'm experienced enough to do that, but a lot of cats are not. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be a train wreck.
See, here's one thing. How do you know, how are you an expert at transposing but not taking it off?
Because, like, with the Yamaha, it's right there on the what you call it. You know what I'm saying? So you have a lot of them that have it right there. And so, like, I had one time, I remember I was at Upper Road, and this dude came up to me. I was one of the choirs, the guest choirs, something like that. And he came up to me, and he asked me. And matter of fact, that's actually how I found out how to actually do it. You know what I'm saying? Because he asked me, he was like, man, you know how to transpose this keyboard? I was like, nah, really. Because I was an XP, I had an XP80, XP50, Roland RD series and all that back then. You know what I'm saying? So they had, you know, it was clear that if you look at the the transpose button was right there. So we didn't have to go in and change and all that. I was like, Reverend, I do not know. I don't know how to. Yeah, I can't help you because I don't transpose. You know, and so, but I thought it was funny, man. I felt bad for him, you know, embarrassed. So I would say the only reason to use transpose, and I know a lot of cats use it to actually learn their fingering. I've heard that concept. Mentioned. But I've never really understood the concept.
How does it help you learn fingering?
Well, what it is they said that you put the keyboard in a key that you're not familiar with, and then I still don't understand.
So when you move,
it's like I don't understand the logic of it. I'm like, okay, this is how I learned how to play in every key. When I had a song, I would practice that song in every single key.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? So when after I finished doing my scales and all that, I would get that song for that practice, and I would practice that in every key. I'd start in C, go to C sharp, go to D, you know, on and on in semitones, up until I got back to C again. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And I would do that literally for an hour, maybe even 2 hours, maybe even 3 hours. I mean, bro, we used to come. I was privileged enough where initially when I first started learning, the pastor, she would let us come, man. We would come in there for choir rehearsal, have choir rehearsal from like 7 to 8:30, and then me and my boy, we would sit in there. It would be me, Orlando. His brother Joey was playing bass at the time. Orlando Thompson. Some of you guys know him. Yeah, Chubby. That dude is ridiculous.
Monster.
Yeah, and so we would all be in the church, man, literally until like the next morning.
Oh man.
You know, my boy Bobby Davis be on drums, man, and so the pastor would literally have to come and kick us out of the actual church. Wow. I mean, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, from 7 to like 7 the next morning. Wow. But that's how bad we wanted it, man. A lot of cats don't want it like that.
Yeah, the hunger. It's like, They have it easier nowadays. Like, you know, some
Dude.
musicians, they take the inner ear thing too far. Everybody gotta have a talk back mic.
Right.
It's just, and then it's these every song got a James Fortune intro.
Right.
Bro.
Right. Man.
You know those and don't know hymns?
Right. Something wrong.
Whoo! I ain't gonna call no names. It's the bro, but it's been a couple times he had to play a hymn, and it was like we used to clown in the back and have a baby picture with his hands up. Listen, I ain't gonna call him out. It's the bro.
But you know what though? I saw the maturity though.
Yeah.
Because see, a lot of times you have to be challenged in a certain area, and so when you're coming from like a Baptist environment, when you're coming from like a Methodist environment, an AME environment, to a Pentecostal holiness environment, Kojic, and you know some of these others, Cool JC and all that, where they go church, you know, it's an adaptation.
Shock.
Yeah, it's a shock, man. It's a culture shock. So you got to learn, you know, how to be in that environment. I'm boy. Let me tell you. You think Darnell used to get on you, Reverend? Me and Darnell. I thought I used to get on my boy. Man, Darnell used to stay on him. That's how the baby figure picture came up.
I'm saying, like, when I tell you Darnell turn around and look at you and he look pissed. Yo, he look like he be ready to unplug his instrument,
right.
yo.
So y'all gotta understand, you know, we all are professionals. You know what I'm saying? But Darnell, he's had the opportunity to be in the industry, you know, on the road.
So his tolerance level
so his
a lot shorter, bro. Once I learned that, I said, oh, man.
Yeah, I remember I told Darnell one time, I said, man, I said, you like me. We cut from the same cloth.
Straight up.
I said, but I also understand that some of these guys, they got to grow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just a part of the process, man. But, I mean, when you listen to that cat now,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's just bananas, man. Yeah. The dude is ridiculous, man. He thank me all the time for he's like, man, Jay, I appreciate you not allowing me to slip by.
That's
you know
real.
What I'm saying? Challenging me.
Some ministers of music don't care.
Yeah, because he couldn't play in all his keys when he came to us. You know what I'm saying? But I loved his spirit, man. And he was willing to learn. That was the thing, man. And now the dude is crushing, man.
Let me ask you this. Since we touched on that topic, what's the difference in music between denominations?
You know, the music here, the difference is the sound.
Okay.
But the purpose should be the same.
Right.
Let me say that again. The difference is the sound, but the purpose should be the same. I have an issue as a minister of the gospel, as a minstrel of the gospel, when I see different denominations pitting the other denominations against each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got this thing now that's real huge, where gospel cats are talking trash about CCM cats.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. It's like, dude, first of all, let me be just real with you, okay? The gospel industry doesn't understand what simplicity is. You make music so hard,
straight up,
that the people can't really enjoy it.
They can't even redo it at their church.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. I mean, there's a reason why James Hall never became mainstream.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why. And if you're a young producer, if you're a young writer, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had this conversation with Roger at one time. Roger was an organist at our church. And I had this conversation with him. I said, man, let me tell you something. He was a Doobie fanatic.
Oh, yeah.
Doobie fanatic. I love Doobie. I
Doobie
love
good
Doobie.
People.
He's
Roger
good.
would Doobie you to death, though.
He's great people, man. And the dude can write his butt off. The dude can sing, produce. Monster. Man, he's a monster. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But I said, Roger, but check this out. I said, have you ever heard Doobie stuff on mainstream airplay?
Exactly.
He was like, wow, you're right.
Perspective.
I said, man, listen. I said, we studied his stuff.
Right.
We studied the James Hall.
Right.
We studied, Melvin Crispell. We studied all of that stuff. We studied Doobie. We studied all this stuff. I said, but the thing that what we sing in most churches, right, was the Hezekiah Walkers.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Was the Ricky Dillon.
John P. Key.
Was the Mississippi Mass Choir. Was John P. Key. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Was the Fred Hammond.
Yep.
Right? I said, but even though James Hall had probably some of the greatest musicians that ever walked the face of this earth. You know what I'm saying? But the music at that time was so complicated. Man. Now I'll tell you now, if James Hall back then, he was before his time, I'll put it to you that way. The James Hall back then, if he was now, a lot of the churches could sing it. because it's so much our music ministry things have gone beyond where we were back then. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so now, man, that's one of the issues I have. So I tell people, I said, man, I'm gonna be real with you, man. I said, because of the flashiness of gospel music and of church music, it's taken away from the purity
Mm-hmm.
of worship. And what I mean by that is because now people, anytime you can manipulate someone to the point where they won't react to the words of the song,
Come on.
if the music is not at a certain point,
Bro, we could talk all day on that.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yo, I'm so sick of. All right, I ain't gonna go off topic, but artists nowadays with singles relying on the music.
Right.
I'm such a mature musician. I'm not at my peak, and I'm not where I want to be. But my tolerance for nonsense music and stuff like that is very short.
Right.
Like, yeah, your single is dope. You got four words to the song, and I'm not knocking you. This is I'm my biggest critic. I'm a strong music critic. You know what I mean? And yeah, your music dope. Your drummer killing. He's selling your single.
Right.
They're selling your single. Like, what is the words in New York? The words are effective. They believe what they singing. And out here too. Don't get me wrong. Out here too. But that goes back to the music. Don't let the music crowd the the purpose.
Exactly. I mean, you can't do that, man. And see, that's the difference. The main difference we see with like gospel and CCM.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With CCM, man, I'm telling you, it's just amazing to me the simplicity of the music, but the complexity of the understanding of the words.
Yep.
I mean, the lyric is so marvelous, man. And it's like, and that's the thing about me. It's like there's no strong context a lot of times in gospel music, right?
Legit.
But in CCM, man, when you listen to the lyric, you're like, dude, this mug, it's like he writing a poem to God, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, this is like
permeate
wonderful.
me.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it forces you to focus on God.
Yeah.
You don't focus on the talent.
Yeah.
Whereas in gospel music, a lot of times it's all about the talent.
Yeah.
And not about God. And we got to keep it real.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? It's all about the talent. It's all about the skill level. If I don't hoop and holler, then you don't feel like I preached. If I don't play all these licks, then you don't feel like the band played. You know what I'm saying? If I don't get up there and do all this riffing and running, you don't feel like I sung.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We've got to get out of the state of mind that where we allow our flesh to rise up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times it's not necessarily the artists. They're using their gifts that God has given them. They're using their abilities. But because of the way the church has been set up for so long, we've kind of set up the pattern of, okay, we're going to celebrate the gift so much that many times we forget about the giver of the gift.
Come on, the lender.
The lender of the gift. You know what I mean? And so we've got to get back to saying, you know what? Even if this young man can't play like a Calvin Rogers, you know what I'm saying? Even if he can't play the bass like a AJ or a Peanut or some of the others, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's offering his gift. We shouldn't make fun of it. We shouldn't, discourage them or whatever. We should understand that he's offering his gift, and they're presenting it to the world. If my record that I produce doesn't have every lick in the world, then don't be mad with me about that.
Right.
Understand that there's so much more. Or so much more further that our music can go when it's simple. The gospel is simplistic in nature.
Right.
Many times we complicate it. And if we are musicians, if we are gospel singers, we're supposed to be representing the gospel. You understand what I'm saying? And so if we're doing that and we're making it complicated for them, I had a post on Facebook and I was telling them, I said, pastors and preachers, we have to, I said, when you go to, I was speaking about sinners. I said, imagine going to another country and they're speaking this different language and you don't understand what their language is.
Right.
I said, that's exactly how visitors and sinners feel when they come to your church. And all you're speaking is kingdom language. So let's let's translate the kingdom language so they can understand it. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, that's what we're doing through music. Let's translate the music of the gospel so the people that we're actually ministering to musically can understand it.
Right. I agree. I mean, man, like I said, we could talk about that all day, bro.
You better believe it.
Man. Even, and I put up a post a while ago. I say, that ad-lib hit different when you can relate to it.
Right.
Relating to the like you said, the lyrics. Bro, Yo, you know how many times back in the day, even at the end of songs exalting after the vamp and all that.
Right.
Lately, JJ Harrison, they've been doing it. You know, I have no reason to fear stuff like, bro, thank you for not killing me in my mess. Bro, I never knew what that stuff meant until, you know what I mean? Yo, bro, we could have, you know, thank you for protecting me from danger seen and unseen.
Right.
Bullets flying, no name, no address.
Right.
Bro,
absolutely.
You didn't know. If you'd have left 2 minutes earlier.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Dead.
So
right.
to be able to apply that stuff and testify and, you know, exalt in a song, all of that ties in, man, as, you know, but back to being a young musician and for the next generation, I mean, that goes for producers and writers as well.
Yep.
Be conscious of that. And also understand that, yo, you don't always have to, you're not going to only be playing your instrument. You may become a producer.
Right.
And to be able to, a lot of people can't write. A lot of people can't be creative with music. And some people are just great at both. So, I mean, don't knock it and don't feel like that's the end result or that's the only lane. Jump into different avenues, man, and don't be scared. And, I mean, even with gospel, like Big Bro was saying, understand this. It should be the purpose, you know what I mean? It's the difference is the sound, but the purpose should be the same.
Right.
I agree with that. I mean, the way you put that together, man, is so dope. So I'll even ask, you know, like, let's go here because I know they need to hear about it. Business and contracts.
Oh, my God.
Finances in church. How should all of that be handled?
So let's start within the church. It's real key that you have your business in order, right? Me starting out young, I didn't necessarily have my business straight as it relates to contracts and all that. One, because many times we feel like when we're pouring our heart and soul into something, we don't feel like the individual is not going to have our best interest at heart, right? We've called them as our shepherds, as our they're supposed to be shepherding our flocks. And let me say that too. Don't be just looking for a gig, right? Don't treat church as a gig. You want to make sure that your leader cares not only about your gift but about your soul.
Come on. I ain't trying to make 500 and go to hell.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It bothers me when you know, a pastor won't spend time with you outside of church, won't call you and say, how are you doing? How's your family doing? You need anything? You know what I mean? Yes, I'm paying you, you know, blase Sunday. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't care about me. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't mentor me and shepherd me. That's still a part, especially if I join your church.
Yo, and I know musicians that don't speak to their pastor. Get paid, be happy, and go home. It's like, bro, that's weird.
Man. That's crazy, man. I can't do it.
Yo, as a musician, it really matters. Yo, even now, bro, it matters more than playing on my instrument, bro. If I get a weird vibe or God tell me something ain't right, your boy is out.
I gotta go, man.
Your boy is out.
Gotta go.
You feel me? Like, it matters, bro. Your soul matters more than you playing your instrument.
Right.
And if you don't agree with your pastor with what he be preaching, that matters, bro.
Oh yeah,
if the word ain't lining up.
And see, I think the problem is we've got a lot of musicians that are not saved.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't affect them one way or the other. And you know, that could be a problem in and of itself, or what have you. When we look at, you know, certain things about the church and all of that, it's like, you know, if you're not a part of that culture, if you're not a part of the kingdom, then you don't understand kingdom things.
Correct.
You know what I mean? You can learn all you want to. It's like a doctor that goes to school, to medical school, and learns everything about a doctor. But if you never did a residency, you don't know what to expect. You know what I mean? You don't know what to expect. And so, you know, getting back to the original thing about the contracts and stuff, listen, get a contract. You've got to learn to handle business. I think that's one of the main things with musicians, but definitely young musicians, man, is you got to learn to handle your business. Because if not, it could come back to haunt you. Mm-hmm. And I'm a witness. I'm going to be transparent with you. I'm a witness where, you know, we started with love offerings. Mm-hmm. And then we didn't make things clear. You know what I'm saying? So even when we went full time or got on honorariums, there was still no guidelines that were put in place to protect them or us, you know. And so quite naturally, I just left it that way. But then it got to a point where, you know, some churches, they want to flip the script on you, and now they want to keep everything business.
So shit. Oh, man. And
so it moved from being ministry for me to now, okay, this is really a job.
Good question. We ain't going to cut that. What's the difference between business and ministry, and where does it start and end with each?
Okay. So understand this. I believe every musician that's a part of the church, part of the kingdom, should understand ministry, right? Because ultimately, that's what it's all about. You're helping aid the ministry to reach more people, to impact more lives, to expand God's kingdom, and bring those sinners in the dying world into the church. And so ultimately, that is what we're called to do, right? And so, however, you got to understand that if you're receiving any type of honorarium from a church, or if you're full-time staff, if you're on the staff, you get an honorarium, you get a check, they 1099 in you, or they W2 in you.
Yeah.
You are an employee.
You're an employee.
Okay? And so literally, if you don't do your job, you can be fired.
So that is business.
That's business.
I got you.
And so we've got to understand that. You've got to understand that you as a musician are an employee. And when you are an employee, many times that line can be hard to decipher with clarity, because you have to understand that your pastor, if he's a true pastor, he's not going to be a pastor or the CEO of the church, but he's also going to lead and guide you. You're going to get something out of the ministry portion of it as well. However, you've got to make sure that you protect yourself. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how many musicians, man, have been dogged by the church, either intentionally or unintentionally.
Right.
And haven't handled their side of the business. Right. And then they wonder in support of the younger generation, me being in support of the younger generation, that is, they wonder why these actual young musicians take the type of stand they do against these churches. It's because they've seen us older cats get abused. They've seen things that we've gone through. You know what I mean? And so now they're like, nah, So it's become more business for them than ministry.
Honestly,
and so like it's been a mandate of mine that God gave me to say, okay, how do we bridge this gap between pastors and minstrels, and how do we teach the younger generation that, listen, in spite of what it may have been, what it looks like, what you may have experienced or what you've seen somebody else experience, it's still important for you to understand that you've got to have balance. Right. You got to have balance of the ministry and the business. And many times that line can get, blurred, but that's what a contract is for, right? Because it keeps both parties honest, right? You say, okay, look, this is what it is. This is what we agree to. I'm not agreeing to any cuts or anything like that, And I wish I would have done that, what I'm saying? Even my own situation, it's like, okay, no, I mean, certain things just don't need to take place.
Right.
And it's one thing. I think a lot of times musicians will even play for less.
Oh man!
When they feel like they're being appreciated.
Oh man!
When they feel like they can come to you for anything, if your bill is due, you don't have the money for it. When they can help you out and stuff like that, I think the musicians take that into account.
Yo, they'll play for free.
Right.
They see a need.
You know what I'm saying?
You telling the church you need a need. Yo, keep my whole check.
Right. Exactly. But my issue is when it becomes a take situation.
Yo.
With these churches and these preachers, these pastors. It's like, how you going to take, and we giving, and you asking us to give
when
more.
It's time to, nah.
I'm like, hold up. How you going to add another service, and you're not even paying us what we should be getting for the one service or the two services?
It has you really, it'll really open your eyes and have you like, yo, how long have I been getting violated, bro?
Right.
Like, for real.
And you know what? And then what happens is you have animosity sets in.
Yep.
And so now you go from being a minister of the gospel to just doing a job. You see what I'm saying? You move from being a minstrel to being a musician in the house of God. And then before you know it, it's like, okay, I don't even want to. I'm just here.
Count the song off.
I'm just here. You know what I'm saying? And you begin to operate in your natural gifting, or your natural talent, I should say, than operating in God's anointing and his gifting in your life.
And don't be the one where you don't have control over your flesh and you allow the enemy to allow you to manipulate the whole service because you mad about something about money. Man, I said that's one thing I would never, ever let happen. Bro, I wish I would sabotage the service. Playing drums.
Bro, let me tell you something, though. This is for all the pastors out there. For all the pastors, all the preachers that take a musician with them. Let me tell you something. and you can try me if you want to, and it'll prove itself true. If you ever double cross a musician,
oh man,
if you ever excuse my French, if you ever piss a musician off, please get that right before your services, because a musician can make or break your service.
And that all they you need is that one service,
right?
To be
they
seen.
Can make or break your service. And thank God there's cats like Eric and I that never get to that point where we would never manipulate the service like that. But there's some cats out here that will do it. You was short on their check last week.
Yeah,
man, you might want to get that right.
Yeah,
because, unless they done quit or you done laid them off, because that service will be tainted. It'll be tainted, man.
I've even seen musicians get violent with the pastor, bro.
Oh yeah, dude.
For their money, when you hiring street musicians, there's a few out
there. That's how they do, man.
They will approach you, and the whole nine. And for the younger generation, don't even be that musician. These type of events will help you step your business and your verbal,
right,
your communication game up as a musician. Look, bro, I used to get mad. Now I'm not get mad. Now I got options, bro.
Right.
And God is still my provider. You are a temporary resource.
Exactly. And that's the thing, man. I was sharing with them this morning when I was preaching at the church this morning, and I was telling them, I said, man, many times we go to the source, we go to the resource instead of going to the source.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? And so understanding that God is our source, man. And if the truth be told, probably 90% of these pastors, the reason they treat the musicians like that is because they know that's all they got.
Right.
They know that you trying to be a full-time musician instead of taking your hind parts out there and getting a job. They know that you got bills that need to be paid, and all of this.
They watch your new car you went and bought, and they know you ain't got no job.
They know, bruh, man. And so they use that against you and feel like, okay, well, he ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? That's why I tell musicians, look, everybody that's under the sound of my voice right now, listen to me. Build income outside of your church. Whether that's multiple streams, whether that's a job, whether that's starting a business, whether that's doing investments, whether that's doing Forex trading, whatever it is, man, you want to have at least 7 different forms or sources of income.
Indeed.
The streams of income, at least 7 you want to have, man. And because you don't want to depend on a church. You don't have to depend on a church.
One is nonprofit.
Right.
2, and I mean, I don't even care about the ones with contracts. I still don't trust it that far. It's loopholes.
Right.
You got 401k. That's nice, but
And see, here's the thing, man. A contract, you want people to honor a contract, but ultimately that's to help them. And even if you got into a situation, God forbid, that you had to sue the church, then that's what a contract is for.
Are verbal agreements contracts?
Yeah. Verbal agreements can be contracts as well. Absolutely.
And if it's not upheld, do you feel like that affects the ministry side of things?
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like it affects both sides.
Okay.
But definitely the ministry side, especially if that gets out.
Right.
That's why I was just sharing with a pastor today. I was like, man, I said one of the things, well, not a pastor, he was a friend of ours. I said one of the things is about musicians or the musicians community is once you get a bad name in the musicians community, you can forget it. You're going to have to go outside of the state.
And legit. I know a few musicians who going to have to move.
Right.
And my thing is, even with that right there, musicians, keep your name good. Pastors, keep your name good. Churches, keep your name good. The musician community, they will blacklist a church. Just like the pastors know what musicians are good and who are not.
Man, it's amazing to me, though, that I feel like pastors feel like we don't talk to each other.
Oh, man. Or feel like your number that you pitched to my friend is going to make him be disloyal.
Right, exactly. Man, and I can tell you, man, I can't even tell you on 2 hands probably how many of my former pastor friends called me to come play for them.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll never know. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, man, these jokers ain't loyal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's funny to me, man. It's crazy, man. So it's like, take care of what you got. If you have faithful musicians, if you have faithful praise and worship leaders and things, your volunteers are faithful and all that, take care of them. Spend time with them. We understand as a pastor you have a lot of responsibility. especially if you have a huge ministry. You know what I mean?
Right.
You have so many souls and things, and so many issues that you take upon yourself that people never realize. They never understand the monumental things that you have to overcome a lot of times in order to feed the flock. And so, but you know what? Many times, all it takes is for you to say, you know what? I'm gonna take the choir out this week. I'm gonna take it and get this. You ain't always got to take them to Golden Corral. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Treat them right. Take them to Ruby Tuesdays. He'll go out to Karamas or something. You know what I'm saying? Take them to a Japanese steakhouse, man. I mean, you know, you can't say, okay, well, I'm gonna treat you, but it's gonna be the low bottom of the totem pole.
Nah, like,
and we're gonna go get pizza.
The memes, like, bro, we could have did this at the crib. You know that, right? Like,
right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, show them that they really matter to the ministry. Show them that they really matter to the ministry, man.
Right, that's real, bro. And like I said, man, and so many, I don't even have to ask you, but I want to ask you anyway. How has God impacted your life through your gift? Any open doors? And you could be brief, you know.
Oh, man, yeah. I mean, it's been so much, man. Like I said, man, I've been able to write for, you know, several artists, man, and produce several records and things, man, and co-produce a few songs and things with some of the top cats in the industry. One of my great and I learned a lot. I was always an engineer, mixing engineer and stuff, man. I learned a lot doing a session with Aaron Lewis for In Awe of Your Presence, a song that I wrote. And it's actually, I actually wrote it as a CCM song. And and we rewrote it or we recorded it as a gospel tune that we put on my boys record. Wow. And I'm actually geared to pitch that song to some heavy hitters in the industry. So y'all may hit it, but that song, you know, hit the top 20 on Billboard charts. Dope. And everything had great royalties from that one.
Yes, sir. Hey.
But yeah, man, that it was just because, you know, it was always in the right place at the right time. And, you know, I often say that particular song there taught me the principle of I'd rather have a little bit of something than 100% of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because that was my baby, man. I knew when I wrote it, I was like, man, I didn't write it to be a hit. God gave me that song it was like 2:35 in the morning. I was at my studio, downtown Durham. And God gave me that song, man, because I was going through some things in my life. Mm-hmm. And so that was one of the things I would say that really helped impact my life and everything. And I was at a point, man, you know, when it's your baby, it's hard to let go.
That's real.
And so, you know, I had to give up some of the royalties and all of that, but it exposed me to other people. So then I began to start writing for other people and stuff, you know, and everything. And, of course, Marshetta Parker and working with her and finally getting the opportunity to write on her project and stuff. And, man, so we're just excited, man, you know, about what God's doing in my life.
That's real, man. So one of my last questions, man, to wrap it up, how do you feel? Should church musicians play secular gigs?
So here's what's been my take on this. And I always crucify folk when they try to come at me about certain what's called, and I do it with the word. Yeah. You know, I do it with life. And so if you are a musician, your job is to play music. Mm-hmm. And so music takes on the form of whatever environment or whatever atmosphere, whatever spirit the artist decides that they want to portray.
That's real.
You know what I mean? And so, like me personally, there's certain genres I would never play. You know, you're not gonna find me on a hip hop tour, R&B, you know, pop and all that type stuff. But I will do jazz. I will do, you know, country. I will do some other stuff. I have done like pop stuff, but it's just an environment a lot of times that you don't really want to be a part of.
Even if you got control over your flesh, you still, you know, at some point don't want to be like, look, I'm from New York, bro. I like hip hop. I love, and even with that situation, yo, you shouldn't listen to that. I'm a musician. I love it. The music sounds great, but the enemy can control you with that. You'll be yelling stuff that you didn't know what it was.
Right.
Kanye will have you twisted,
right,
bro.
Right.
And I mean, good people, you know, when he was in his right mind, but you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, it matters.
Yeah, it does, and that's what I was gonna say. It matters, man, because you're a lot of musicians don't understand or they don't look at the spiritual side because why? You know why? Because a lot of musicians don't build a relationship with God.
Exactly.
They don't study their word. They don't, or at least until they really come in the fullness of who God is in their lives.
It's like you can mess around and be out there doing so many secular gigs and having fun. And I'm not knocking secular gigs. You gotta, do what you gotta do. But at the same time, at some point, you should want to grow, and God should be your provider.
Right.
At the end of the day, you should, hey, God, I ain't gonna lack. I'm not worried about it. Because my thing is, there's been times where, or you can end up in times where it's like, man, you done did so many secular gigs, and you in that vein, and you in that world and mentality, and yeah, my next secular gig this weekend or whatever, or my next gig, blah, 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 and turn around and try to go sing a hymn or something and can't do it because you don't feel it.
Right.
Or the words hold no weight.
Right. And see, that's the thing, man. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
Because, you want to, and this has always been my take on it, and I got this from a bishop that was a part of our jurisdiction, and when he was, and I didn't get this from him, but he clarified his stance on it, and I said, okay, yeah, we're in line in sync. My thing is, if it's a job, it's a job, but even as you go on a job in the secular world, period, you don't want the different spirits and components of that job to influence your other job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or to influence the ministry. And don't bring that baggage into the church on Sunday morning. Yeah. If you at the club and they got this blase, because those spirits, people may not believe it, but the spirits will attach themselves to you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so you're wondering why there's a struggle, there's a pull Sunday morning in worship.
Because you ain't tapped in.
Or you haven't tapped in. You haven't prayed, ask God to clear your mind, clear your heart, and all this stuff. And so I say, if your spirit is not strong enough to handle it,
there you go.
Don't do it.
There you go.
Because I'm also a proponent of understanding that, listen, we need people in these arenas in order to reach them.
That too.
You know what I mean? And so we need saved people,
that
are in these R&B bands. We need saved people that are in these hip-hop bands. We need saved people that are in these R&B bands. You know what I'm saying? Because now they can reach out to the world and pull them in.
I've heard.
Right? I also believe, I'm going to say this now. I also believe that there are even R&B and pop artists that are actually saved.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And just doing it because that's the money.
Right. That's their living.
Yeah.
That's their living. You know what I'm saying? They have clean music.
Mm-hmm.
They're not out there cussing it out. And a few of them actually do altar calls and stuff at the end of their concerts.
They pray before the show. They get the most saved one in the camp to
pray.
pray.
So I've learned, it's all based on your personal conviction level. I always said, and I promised the Lord when He gave me the gift, I said, God, if you give me the gift, I'll enhance it. I said, and I'll never go on the road in that magnitude and use my gift. But that was just me.
That's real.
That was just me, man. And so, yeah, I mean.
That's a great way to put it, man. Like, and it's not being neutral. It's not being biased. And, that's real. That's real, man. Like, in so many words, like, that's just straight flat out. That's just what it is.
Right.
So, I mean
you got to live, man. You got to eat. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. Here's what I tell a pastor that does not want his musicians or whatever playing a secular gig or something like that. Pay me more.
There you go.
Pay them more.
There you go.
That's how they're making their living.
There you go.
If you don't want them playing for a secular job, or you don't want them playing at weddings and all this stuff, and I have even heard some pastors didn't want them playing for gospel groups. Yeah. No, pay me more then.
Yeah.
Because now you're limiting what I can earn. You're limiting my earning potential. Right.
Barriers,
So pay me more. And then we can say, okay, yeah, fine, I won't do that. But until that happens, man, no. Allow these guys to do what they need to do to feed their families. And again, as long as it does not affect their spirit, and they're able to do that and not, be in their flesh, and they could impact the area that the atmosphere or the environment they're in, and not the environment impact them. That's when the problem comes into play.
That's dope, bro. Well, man, like, I feel like, we've covered a good amount and dropped, some knowledge for the next generation, gospel musicians, and just musicians in general. Hey, any secular musicians want to become gospel musicians, feel free to tune in or whatever to the Musicians Exchange podcast. Any last thing, any future engagements and promo, like whatever?
Yeah, man. So, if you guys want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Jamain Freeman. On Facebook, I'm Jamain A. Freeman and Jamain Freeman. But yeah, man, I gotta. I'm actually going to be doing we're doing, myself and Mitch Hines, we're doing an actual musicians award. We call it the Mom Awards with Ministers of Music Awards. And it's not just for ministers of music. We're all music ministers. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be honoring the local musicians in the Raleigh-Durham area because we've never had that. We've never, even on a national level, we've never had an award show that actually honors the musicians like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
BMI and ASCAP, they do their thing, but we've never had a national award show that actually honors musicians for, you know, the things that they do, the commitments and things they've done for, or their contribution to the musicians community. So we're going to be doing that this fall, as well as, of course, we're launching our church. October. First Sunday in October, we'll be launching Pneuma Life Church in Greensboro.
Shout out to Pneuma Life.
I'm looking for some musicians, some versatile musicians, because I want to have a multicultural band.
He knows music,
and so I want some versatile musicians that could, you know, play all types of music.
That's
and
real.
Everything. And but yeah, man, I'm excited about that. And then the last thing is be on the lookout for my actual summit. So I'm doing a pastor musician summit, and these issues that we're talking about, I told you guys gave me a mandate, man, to really bridge that gap between musicians and pastors, and I find that, you know, the devil is really pitting us against each other because of that relationship that we have with God. And so you know, as musicians, that, you know, his chief musician, his chief right hand man was a musician,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And so, of course, that relationship is going to suffer if we allow it to. But it's all about understanding each other's positions and perceptions on things, and then moving forward in that. So y'all be on the lookout for that. The pastors, we're going to probably do a prayer breakfast together, where we have that summit, that symposium with the pastors and the local musicians as well.
Dope, man. Well, I appreciate you stopping through the Musicians Exchange podcast. Man.
Yes, sir, man.
You know, dropping that knowledge on us, you know. Oh, nah.
Man, I'm glad you invited me. I love it, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro. All right. Well, stay tuned for the next episode.